We're going to be teaching you exactly how you can add value to your product through something called differentiation. Now, if you don't know what differentiation is, basically it means that we need to make our product different in order to capture more sales from the competition. Because if your product is the same as the competition, there's nothing that stands out that would make them buy your product over your competition's product. So the goal is to make your product more appealing and add more value to your product through differentiation. And in return, that would capture you a lot more sales. Now, in terms of adding value, there's two different ways that we can add value, and that is through perceived value or actual value. So first, we're going to talk about perceived value, and this is going to be what your customer thinks that your product is worth in their own brain based off of their own needs and wants. So for example, you and I may look at products totally differently. If you have different needs and wants in your own personal life, you might think a certain product is more valuable, and I might think it's less valuable because I don't have much of a need or a want for that product. And you may have a need or want for that product. In return, you are willing to pay more money, and your perceived value of that product is higher than my perceived value of that product. So basically, perceived value varies from person to person depending on how they view things or what their own personal needs and wants are in their life. Now, one more thing before we continue this video, it is the holiday season. You can probably tell I'm already celebrating with the Christmas tree set up behind me on my desk. And in order to celebrate the holidays, I am having a Black Friday sale starting now if you are watching this video, and it will go all the way until Monday, November 30th. And the Black Friday discount code will give you $200 off for my personal course and mentorship. So if you're interested in investing into yourself and your business, and you want to learn how to create and grow your Amazon FBA business from start to finish, and having me personally work with you one-on-one, then that code will get you $200 off down below, first link in the description, and it will only last until Monday, maybe longer. We'll see how many people get in because I can only teach so many at a time. So that's it for this announcement. Now that brings us back to the video. Once again, happy holidays, and let's get back into it. Now we need to talk about actual value, and this is not opinionated, meaning it does not vary from person to person. This value can be physically measured based off of the product's benefits, features, and quality. Now, both of these versions of value are both very important, and you should definitely incorporate both types of value into your business and into your products. So most new sellers out there, they just follow the bare basics of what they need to do. They'll find a product that fits all the criteria, and it may look like a good product, but they're missing the differentiation. So they end up listing a product that is basic and has no differentiation from the competition. And in return, they will not get as many sales as they could if they actually made their product stand out among their competition. You never want to try to differentiate your product based on pricing, because this can lead to a price war between you and your competitors if you're all lowering your price over and over. And the end result would be that no one's going to make any money because all of your prices are so low that the profit margins are no longer there. So instead, you should be differentiating your product. That way you can raise your prices without starting a price war, because your product has that value and it is worth that price. And that is a big benefit of differentiating correctly, because your price is able to be increased if you have that value, and then in return you have bigger profit margins and more money each time you make a sale. So now you're probably wondering how we can incorporate the two versions of value into our products and into our business, and don't worry, we're going to get into that right now. So first, let's talk about perceived value and how you can incorporate this into your product. Now remember, this one is based off of people's personal opinions on how much a product is worth. So how are we able to change people's minds and make them think that our product is worth more than it really is? And the one main way you can do this is through your product listing. So for example, let's say I'm selling an iPhone case and I have two separate listings for the exact same iPhone case. And on one of the listings, it is very low quality pictures. It doesn't have a whole lot of pictures. The bullet points are very low quality, and along with the description and title being low quality. And on the second listing, it is the total opposite. All the pictures are very high quality. The title, the bullet points, and the description are all very high quality. What do you think would happen for perceived value on both these listings? I can tell you that the customer on the first listing is going to think that it is worth less simply because the listing is lower quality and it simply doesn't look like it would be worth as much money. But on the second listing, that same customer might be willing to pay more money for that just because it has better pictures and a better quality listing. And that is the one main way that you can incorporate perceived value into your business and into your products, and I highly recommend that you do this. Basically, your listing communicates the value of your product to the buyer or the customer, and if you don't communicate that effectively, then the customer or buyer won't have a very good perceived value of your product and they won't be willing to buy it. But if you do communicate it correctly, then they are going to be a lot more willing to pay more for your product and actually buy your product. So you always have to remember that the people buying your products are just like you and just like myself. Start thinking like your customer, start thinking like the person who is going to buy your product. And the reason you should do that is because your listing needs to communicate directly to them. And if you don't know how to communicate to that certain customer, then it's not going to be selling as well. Your bullet points in your title and your description should always communicate the benefits and the features of the product to your customer as effectively as possible. You still want to put a lot of keywords into these things, but don't put too many keywords to where it no longer communicates effectively to your buyer. People take action based off of two emotions, either to reduce pain or increase pleasure. So in your listing, you really need to explain the benefits of your product and why it will decrease their pain or make their life easier. Now, another way to add perceived value is to have good reviews. And another word for this would be social proof. So when your customer is shopping, they're going to be looking through all the different options. And one of the factors that is going to be a big factor for them is how much social proof does it have? And that is going to be seen in the reviews. So the more reviews a product has and the better star rating a product has, the more likely they are perceiving that your product is more valuable through social proof. But basically, to sum it up, you are able to do something that Amazon doesn't approve of very much, but that is going to be paid reviews. And another way to help give your product more perceived value is to write the review for your paid reviewer. So when you're telling this person to leave you a review, you can actually write up what you want them to post. So instead of having your paid reviewer write something random about your product, you should actually tell them what to write, because you know exactly what the main benefits and features of your product are, and you can incorporate all these things into the review. That way, when other customers go to read this review, they will get more perceived value for your product. So when you are writing this review for your paid reviewer, you should really try to communicate the reasons as to why your product is so beneficial and answer some of the main questions that a lot of customers have for your type of product. And then when you send that over to your paid reviewer, just have them copy and paste that into the Amazon review and then post it. And do this at your own risk. I do not condone it, but I am just telling you that it is an option out there. So now let's get on to differentiating with actual value. And if you don't remember, this is the value that is actually measurable. So you can measure it through its features, benefits, and quality. And you can do this by fixing a common problem with this product, including features or variations, or bundling another product with this product. So the best way to figure out if this is going to work for your product is to actually go onto Amazon and look at your competitors' reviews. Read through them and figure out what customers are saying about their product, and yours is probably pretty similar, so you can differentiate based off of what people like, what people don't like, or what people wish was added to the product. Most likely when you do this, you're going to come across a lot of common issues that you're going to see over and over again, and that would be a huge red flag to you as to what you can actually do to differentiate your product versus all those competitors' products. And make sure when you're doing this, you're looking at all the products on the first or the second page. You don't want to go too far, because if you do go too far, most likely everyone's going to not like those products. We specifically want to check some of the best sellers' reviews. So for example, let's say you're reading these reviews and you can see a common problem reoccurring over and over again. Maybe someone wants a different color of a product, or maybe they want a different variation of the product. Maybe they want a specific feature to be improved. That is what you can spot and incorporate into your product. Now make sure you are actually doing this research, because if you incorporate something that people are not complaining about or something that people don't want, then you're going to end up losing money. For example, if no one is complaining about a certain color of a product or a certain size of a product, then that means you should not fix the color or fix the size of the product. Sometimes I have people emailing me and asking me if they should incorporate a specific type of differentiation into their product, and I ask them if they found this through researching their competitors' reviews, and a lot of the time they say no, they just thought it was a good idea on their own. And I can tell you that that is not a good idea. Don't go based off of what you think, go based off of what your customers are saying. Now, another form of differentiation would be to bundle a product with your product. So it's basically like you're including another free little product with your product to increase the value of your main product. Now, these things have to pair together very well. They cannot be two random items that don't work together. Usually they have to be directly correlated to each other in a certain way. And the absolute best way to do this is to actually research again. And the good thing is Amazon does this research for us. There's a section on Amazon that says frequently bought together right under a product listing, and that will tell you exactly what past customers have frequently bought together with that main product. And this is the best way to figure out what you should bundle with your product. Now, you always want to make sure that the bundled item is not going to outdo your main item. So this is just to add to your item, just to make your product look a little bit more appealing or add extra value over your competition. So for example, let's say you are selling a small grill and people frequently buy a spatula with that, and you found that through the frequently bought together section on Amazon, then that is probably a good item to bundle with it, because it is not going to be more valuable than your grill, but it will help your grill look more valuable because it comes with a free spatula. So my personal two favorite ways to differentiate would be through perceived value, making my listing the best quality that it can be, and through actual value, making my product directly better based off of my competition's flaws. So seeing what my competition is doing wrong and making that improvement on my product so it stands out. And like I said earlier, people mainly buy products to make their life easier or better. So when you make this improvement, keep that in mind. So to sum it all up, you definitely need to incorporate differentiation in some way into your product, and you can do this through the actual value or through the perceived value. Make sure that it is solving a problem for your customer. And if you listen to everything I just said in this video and incorporate it, then I can guarantee you that you will stand out among your competition. Now that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, for the third time, happy holidays to all of you. Make sure, if you're interested, check out that first link in the description to get that Black Friday discount code. That's it. I will see all of you in the next video.